Imagine this: the leader of a war-torn nation, in power for over a decade, suddenly disappears without warning. No public statement, no press conference, just gone. What would it mean for Syria, for the region, and for the world? Some reports claim that Assad is seeking asylum in another country. Others suggest he may be preparing for a political exit deal. But is any of this true? The truth may shock you. Let's start with where these rumors began. Over the past few days, reports from social media, international news outlets, and even Syrian opposition groups have claimed that Assad may have fled the country. Sources say that a private plane was spotted leaving Damascus under mysterious circumstances. Some have pointed fingers at certain Middle Eastern countries allegedly offering him refuge. Assad has relied heavily on support from countries like Russia and Iran. But with global politics shifting and Russia's attention focused on Ukraine, Assad may be feeling abandoned. Some analysts suggest that his allies may be pushing him to step down to avoid more sanctions on Syria. It wouldn't be the first time a leader was asked to leave quietly. Assad has relied heavily on support from countries like Russia and Iran. But with global politics shifting and Russia's attention focused on Ukraine, Assad may be feeling abandoned. Some analysts suggest that his allies may be pushing him to step down to avoid more sanctions on Syria. It wouldn't be the first time a leader was asked to leave quietly. Rumors are also swirling about a possible international arrest warrant or secret diplomatic deals. It's not uncommon for leaders facing war crimes charges to negotiate an exit deal in exchange for avoiding prosecution. Some sources claim that secret negotiations have been taking place in the Gulf region. Could Assad be bargaining for asylum right now? Russia has been one of Assad's biggest backers, so fleeing to Moscow might be his safest option. But with Russia's economy under pressure from sanctions and the war in Ukraine, would Putin really want to host another controversial figure? Another potential safe haven is Iran. They've supported Assad financially and militarily throughout the Syrian war, so it wouldn't be surprising if Tehran welcomed him with open arms. But would Iran want that kind of attention right now? Here's where things get really interesting. Some reports suggest that Assad might be seeking refuge in the UAE or Oman. Why? Because these countries have quietly re-engaged with Syria in recent years, reopening embassies and re-establishing diplomatic ties. Could Assad be looking for a quiet, luxurious retirement in a Gulf villa? Now, let's talk about the impact this could have on Syria and the world. If Assad truly fled, who takes control? Syria is no stranger to power struggles, and without Assad, there's a power vacuum. Will it be filled by military generals, opposition forces, or international mediators? Could this be the beginning of a new era for Syria, or the start of even greater chaos? This isn't just about Syria. It's about the Middle East as a whole. Countries like Turkey, Russia, the US, and Iran all have interests in Syria. Assad's departure could trigger a scramble for influence, and trust me, that's the kind of storm that shakes the entire region. But at the end of the day, we're left with more questions than answers. Where is Assad right now? Why is there so much secrecy? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. We'll be following it closely, so be sure to stay with us for updates. That's all for now, but stay alert, something big is happening in Syria, and the truth will come out soon. This is News Global, and we'll see you next time. Has Bashar al-Assad fled Syria? Shocking reports are flooding in, and the world is demanding answers. Is this the end of his regime, or just another twist in Syria's ongoing crisis? Today, we bring you exclusive updates, expert analysis, and global reactions to the most explosive story of the week. You don't want to miss this. Stay with us, because what we're about to reveal might just change everything you thought you knew about Syria's future. Reports are pouring in from multiple sources suggesting that Bashar al-Assad may have fled Syria. While some sources claim he's relocated to a safe haven, others suggest it's part of a larger strategy. But where is Assad now? And why would he leave at this critical moment? Here's what we know so far. According to initial reports, Assad was last seen at a high-level government meeting in Damascus. But shortly after, reports claim that his motorcade was spotted heading toward an undisclosed location. Rumors are swirling that he may have left Syria entirely. Speculation points to safe havens like Russia or Iran, but so far, there is no official confirmation. Could this be a tactical retreat to regroup? Or is it the sign of a regime on the brink of collapse? This wouldn't be the first time a leader fled under pressure, but Assad's situation is far more complicated. To understand why Assad might flee, we need to take a closer look at the current situation in Syria. The country is under immense pressure from multiple fronts. First, let's talk about the intensifying rebel offensives. Recently, opposition forces have made major territorial gains. If Assad feels his control is slipping, fleeing could be a last-ditch effort to save himself. Second, let's not forget the mounting international pressure. Sanctions from the US and Europe have crippled Syria's economy, and political isolation is at an all-time high. If Assad sees the writing on the wall, he might consider an exit plan. And finally, there's the fear of prosecution. Leaders of failed regimes often flee to avoid war crimes trials. Assad knows that if he stays and his regime collapses, he could face the same fate as Gaddafi or Saddam Hussein. Host, speculative tone. So if Assad has fled, where could he have gone? This is the big question. Based on what we know, there are only a few possible destinations for someone like Assad. One possible safe haven is Russia, Syria's longtime ally. Assad has a strong relationship with President Vladimir Putin, and Moscow has a track record of sheltering political figures like Edward Snowden. Could Assad be seeking asylum in Russia? Another option is Iran, a key supporter of Assad's regime. Iran has provided military and financial aid to Syria throughout the conflict. It wouldn't be surprising if Tehran welcomed him with open arms. Finally, there's the possibility of a surprise destination, like a Gulf country or even an undisclosed location in Europe. Some reports suggest he could be hiding under diplomatic protection in a third country. But is there a country willing to risk sheltering him? The world is watching closely, and reactions have been swift. Here's what global leaders and experts are saying. Some analysts argue that Assad's departure would be a game-changer for Syria's future. Others believe it could trigger a dangerous power vacuum that could escalate the civil war even further. So, if these reports are true, what happens next? Here are a few possibilities that could shape the future of Syria and the region. Asterisk, on screen, countdown effect. 3, 2, 1. Asterisk. 1. Power struggle. If Assad is gone, there could be a fierce battle for control of Syria. Rebel groups, political factions, and even foreign powers could compete to fill the void. 2. Civil war escalation. Without a clear leader, chaos could spread, leading to more bloodshed. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel for more updates. Stay tuned for more content. This is a developing story, and every hour brings new updates. If Assad has truly fled, Syria is on the brink of a monumental shift. The next 24 to 48 hours will be critical. Be sure to subscribe to News Global for real-time updates on this breaking story. We'll be tracking every move, every reaction, and every possible outcome. Turn on notifications so you're the first to know. Do you think Assad has fled Syria? Where do you think he could be hiding? Drop your thoughts in the comments, we're reading all of them. Is Bashar al-Assad, one of the most controversial leaders in the Middle East, finally on the run? Reports from multiple sources claim he may have fled Syria, but why now? What triggered this sudden move, and how will it affect the future of Syria, the Middle East, and even global politics? Let's start with what we know so far. In the past 24 hours, several media outlets and social media channels have reported that Bashar al-Assad may have fled Syria under mysterious circumstances. Some reports suggest that he's on a private jet bound for a safe haven, but where? Russia? Iran? Perhaps even a Gulf country like the UAE or Qatar? Now, here's the big question. Why would Assad leave Syria now, after more than a decade of civil war and sanctions? Here are some possible explanations being discussed by analysts and insiders. Keycap 1. Growing pressure from international sanctions. Recently, Western countries introduced even tougher sanctions on Syria, and it's no secret that Assad's inner circle has been feeling the pressure. Could this be the final straw? Keycap 2. Internal power struggles. There are whispers of a potential coup within the regime. Some suggest Assad may be fleeing to avoid an internal revolt from his military or political allies. Could it be possible that Assad is running to save himself from his own people? Keycap 3. Military setbacks. In recent weeks, Syria has experienced several military setbacks. If Assad no longer feels safe in his own country, it might explain his sudden departure. Keycap 4. Secret negotiations or deals. Lastly, some speculate that Assad may be part of a secret political deal. Could international powers have brokered a deal for Assad to leave in exchange for a peaceful transition of power? We've seen it happen before in other countries. Okay, so if Assad has truly fled, what happens next for Syria? This could be a turning point in the Syrian crisis. Here are 3 possible outcomes. Keycap 1. Power vacuum. If Assad is gone, who takes control? Civil wars often escalate when leaders flee, leading to even more chaos. Keycap 2. New leadership. Could this be the chance for a new political settlement? Will opposition forces and world powers seize the moment to push for a peaceful transition? Keycap 3. Regional instability. Assad's departure could send shockwaves through the region. Will other Middle Eastern leaders be forced to react? These scenarios are playing out in real time. Stay with us, because things are changing by the hour. Drop your thoughts in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to News Global for real-time updates on world-changing events. We're watching this story closely, and when there's a development, you'll be the first to know. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel for more updates. Stay tuned for more content.